Good morning from Jerusalem to the Charles D. Smith School in Washington, D.C. Welcome to Jerusalem, unfortunately now by YouTube, but hopefully all of us here will see you in the building, joining us in the most prestigious services in the Jewish world, and I do not think I exaggerate. Now, your esteemed headmaster have asked us to reply to some questions. So I have with me Sam. Sam is a member of our board, and he will help us ask the questions and answer them. My name is Zalli Jaffe. I'm the deputy president of the synagogue, and I hope when you are finished with this interview, you will understand the centrality of the Jerusalem Great Synagogue. You will also note that there are links to the music of the Great Synagogue. And I can assure you, by far, it is the most prestigious male choir you have seen in the Jewish world. Sam.
Okay. Again, welcome to the Jerusalem Great Synagogue. And please, when you're in the area, please come to visit us. Please let us know before you come that you will be here so that we can address you and welcome you appropriately. Here are the questions that Brett had asked, and so I will ask those questions, and Zalli will answer those questions. Number one, what does Judaism look like in Israel?
Judaism in Israel has two faces, the real one and what the press sometimes liked to deliver. The delivery of the press is not the right picture. There is a lot of love, a lot of friendship, tremendous amount of help and assisting to the needy, to the poor. In this synagogue, you will see people who are extreme left and extreme right politically, the extreme Haredi, a man who comes to the synagogue once a year in Yom Kippur to the national annual convention with God. They all come here, and when they are here to stay. At the end of Ne'ilah, in Yom Kippur, we all stand up, all of us, Haredi, religious, more enlightened, or the one who doesn't believe and just comes here to participate and to demonstrate solidarity. All of us stand up and sing Hatikva. There are no arguments, there are no delays. So look at Jerusalem from the positive perspective, and this is what the synagogue does.
Zalli, the second question I think you've just answered, but I will ask it anyway because it's written over here. Whereas in most shuls, national pride may not play as much of an important role, how much does being in Israel play a pivotal role in your community? And I think you just answered that question.
Yes, but I would add here three more things. Number one, we have a very special service in Yom Ha'atzmaut. We have a lot of affairs for soldiers and new immigrants and communities of new immigrants, Ethiopians, people who come from the Arab world. We have special services commemorating Druze policemen and soldiers who were killed in battling terrorism. So yes, nationalism in the Great Synagogue is a very important element.
The third question is, what is your specific Jewish community like? Speaking as if this was 2019, pre-COVID, is your community growing and thriving, struggling, or staying the same size throughout history?
Well, the synagogue is not a community synagogue you're used to in the United States. It belongs to everybody. Everybody comes here. We have people here who walk an hour and a half to come to the synagogue on Shabbat. Of course, we have the integral portion of those people who live in Rehavia. We have been closed for a year. We were the first one to shut our doors, and it reached the international press in more ways than one. We are struggling financially now. Nobody can deny that because of now opening again. But we are extremely confident, and when you come to Israel to visit, you will see the synagogue in its glory.
The fourth question is, with so many shuls in Israel, what makes your shul appealing to daven in?
The formality, the unique music, which is unparalleled in any synagogue in the world, and I do not exaggerate, although many synagogues ask and receive the orchestration of the music that we have here conducted by Eli or written by Raymond. These are very famous compositions. Moreover, Eli, who conducts all over the world, will have an orchestra in Prague, in Baltimore, in London, or in Sydney. When they play Mahler's Second Symphony, they will also play something Jewish, which is usually originated in the choir of the Great Synagogue.
The fifth question is, are there any unique traditions in your shul?
I think that the standing up for Hatikva at the end of Ne'ilah is a very moving event. It is amazing. The president stands next to the ark, just close the door after Ne'ilah. The synagogue is packed with every level of life, professors, Nobel Prize winners, leading businessmen, and the men from the street, religious, non-religious, Haredi community, Hasidim, Mitnagdim, they all stand and sing Hatikva, and you see the eyes are not dry.
The sixth question is, can you tell us about the history of the shul?
The shul is originated in a letter written by both the chief rabbi of Eretz Israel before the state of Israel was established in the 1920, Chief Rabbi Cook, and his father, the chief rabbi, Rabbi Uziel, who complained that when they stood on a mountain around Jerusalem, they saw mosques, they saw churches, but everything Jewish was shadowed by another building. And they wrote, Jerusalem must have a great synagogue. This letter was brought in 1968 to my late father, Maurice Jaffe. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, is his Yotza. And he said, if this is what the chief rabbis wanted, this is what the chief rabbi will get. And they got it.
The seventh question is, anything interesting about the architecture?
Wow, a lot. First of all, if you will look at the windows above the ark, these windows express everything about Judaism. And the quotations are amazing. Al tira avdi Yaakov, do not fear, my son Jacob. And Ehyeh asher ehyeh, this is a commitment by God. All other quotations are in the center of the burning bush, and various other signs are associated with the origin of Judaism. On both sides of the ark, you will see the prayer for the state of Israel on one side and the security forces on the other side. Every one of the stained glass windows surrounding the synagogue tell another story in the biblical history of the state of Israel. From the architectural point of view, you will not see a single pillar inside the synagogue.
The eighth question is the congregation made up of Jews native to Israel, or is the congregation made up of Jews who have moved to Israel from other places? If so, where is most of your congregation originally from?
Well, first of all, the congregation consists of both. We have a very large group which was born in Israel. One of them is your humble servant. We have a large group of those Jews immigrating from the United States, some. Your accent is reflecting that. And we have people coming in from Europe, from South Africa, from Australia. Rehavia, because of its special position in Jerusalem, people who come regularly and they don't have to walk too far, usually are originated from overseas, and they come to Shul to daven. They immigrated to Israel.
The ninth question is, how does your shul take advantage of being in Eretz Yisrael in its programming?
First of all, we deliver education. We have special programs for lone soldiers who come from overseas and are alone in Israel. We are now trying to develop special programs for other lone soldiers because of other circumstances. We give lectures about Judaism, leading Jews around the world. Came to the synagogue to lecture, be it the Minister of Justice in Canada, the Chief Rabbi of the United Kingdom. Every leading politician in Israel is knocking at the door, not during services, but during special program that we have somewhere in this building. We are sending messages of tolerance, of love, of unity, not only around Israel, but around the world. And this message is going through.
The 10th and final question is anything else that you feel would be interesting to our students? Anything else is absolutely appreciated. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Zalli?
I think that the fact that I'm speaking to you here from the Jerusalem Great Synagogue, and you're a pluralistic school, and you have to understand that in the Jerusalem Great Synagogue, yes, we do know that there are Orthodox, conservatives, reforms. Above it all, we are all Jews, and all of you can become members of this synagogue, equal members of this synagogue. The fact that you asked these questions and you took the initiative to approach us is the biggest compliment you could give us. And we at the Great Synagogue say thank you to you, and we would look forward to seeing you here with your headmaster here in the Great Synagogue, as Sam said, as soon as possible.